Hi, I'm Marc De George with Solid State Logic, National Sales Manager for our audio creation products. Thanks for taking the time to listen to me talk a little bit about our new SSL2 and SSL2 Plus interface. Before I get into that, just wanted to talk a little bit about the history of Solid State Logic in that Solid State Logic was started a long time ago, over 40 years at this point, by Colin Sanders, who basically started the company because he was looking to find a mixing console that was better than what was available. That has become part of the culture and the heritage of solid state logic in that we are always looking to find the best way to do something or find a better way to do something. That has become through all of our consoles, all of our newer products that work with your workstation either at home or in the studio. And it certainly goes to our current interfaces. Let's start by just taking a quick overview of the SSL 2 and 2 Plus. I'm actually going to use the SSL 2 Plus for this because right now we are recording the audio for this into our SSL 2. So I will be using the SSL 2 Plus to just kind of go around and give you an overview. All right, so let's take a quick look at our SSL 2 Plus, starting with the big, gigantic monitor knob there. There is a reason for that. SSL has always considered ergonomics when designing any single product, and knowing what you touch most and what you touch least is really important. So in thinking about that, more than likely, the things that you're going to be grabbing most often is number one, the monitor gain. So that's why it's the biggest and the most obvious. Of course, right to the right of that would be headphone A and headphone B, which would be probably the next thing that you would be adjusting most often. Now, right next to headphone B, you will see a little button that says 3 and 4. This allows you to assign outputs from your DAW so that you can have a separate headphone mix. Right? This only is on the SSL2 Plus. SSL2 only has one headphone mix. Above that is a monitor adjust button and knob. So what this does is allows you to mix in between what is coming right into the channels versus what is coming back from your DAW. This is really useful for zero latency mixing. And of course, when you're doing overdubs, especially with things like vocals and stuff like that, they will allow you to hear exactly what is going on so that you can punch in and punch out as easily as necessary. To the left of that is a stereo button, which also exists on the SSL2, and that will split your mix either mono or stereo as needed. All right, let's go over here to the two channels. Both channels are exactly the same. Up top, we have three buttons. The first on the left being your phantom power. Each phantom power is separate from each channel, or individual for each channel. And that will allow you to turn phantom on when you need it, depending upon what channel you have. The next other two buttons there where it says int, that says instrument, and this will allow you to utilize the dual connector that we have on the back, just to plug in something like a guitar or a bass or a keyboard as needed, directly with a 1/4-inch jack. The high Z for high impedance is there for when you are recording guitar or bass or something like that directly. Below the meter there is our gain knob, and notice how the gain goes from 0 to 10, but the overall maximum gain is not just 10 dB, obviously. It is quite a lot more than that. In fact, it is in best in class, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. Finally, right below that is a little button that says 4K. This doesn't have anything to do with video. This has a lot more to do with our legacy 4000 E and G series consoles, which we are, as a company, known very well for. There's still many of those consoles out there in the world being used for professional production, and certainly known and well regarded throughout the world. All right, so let's flip to the back side of SSL 2 Plus. And starting from the left, top left there, that is a USB-C connector. So the unit actually comes with two different USB cables, a C to C and a C to A, for whichever connector that you need. Right next to that would be MIDI in and out, obviously. Right after that is the two separate headphone jacks. Again, SSL2 only has one of these. And then, of course, the outputs here, we have 2 1/4-inch and 4 RCAs. Now, this is for our EDM and DJ friends who want to plug in, let's say, either a CD player or a DJ mixer or something like that. But this also gives you additional outputs. You can bring a laptop and an SSL2 or SSL2 Plus to your next DJ gig, and with whatever software that you're using to DJ with, this is all you need. The 2 1/4-inch jacks there, and by the way, all the connectors on the back here are TRS connectors, so they're all balanced besides the RCAs, of course. And they share duties with the first set of RCA jacks. Now, going farther right, we have our inputs. And again, you can see that these inputs are dual purpose, so that you can put either an XLR or TRS 1/4-inch jack, or just a mono jack for instruments or guitar, bass, keyboards, that kind of thing. I want to point out a couple of things here, because when we talk about our interfaces being best in class, what we mean is that in thinking about our heritage and making things better, or making things the best that they can be, we want to use, first of all, really high quality parts. So the actual unit itself, right? Beautiful metal anodized casing here. And then all the hardware inside, really, really good, starting with all of the potentiometers here, right? For the monitor, the gain, headphones, and monitor mix are made by a company called Alps. This is professional quality potentiometers. They are, the best that you can get. Going again to the back here, all of our connectors, our inputs and outputs here, are made by Neutrik. And this, again, is probably the best that you can do in terms of that. We don't skimp in any way, shape, or form on any of that stuff, because it has the name Solid State Logic on it, and you want to make sure that when it has that name on it, that there is an expectation of quality, and we need to deliver that. All right, so let's go back to the mic pre here, and talking about the mic pre. Again, this is a specially developed mic pre that our geniuses in R&D came up with. It's actually a two-stage mic pre that allows a lot of gain for just 5 volts. So in other words, this interface will run directly on USB bus power. You don't need a separate power supply for it. You can even run it off of some external chargers that you use for an iPad or something like that. They will definitely work that way. The amount of gain that is in a particular one of these is, as you can see here on the screen. I would say comparatively to some of the other interfaces out there, some of our competitors, this again is best in class. The other thing that we talked about, or I mentioned before, is this 4K button here. And the 4K button, as I mentioned, stands for the 4000 series console. What we've done is taken what we think are some of the top elements of that particular console. It's a little bit of harmonic distortion, and it's nice top-end sheen. This is what many engineers really like about that particular console. So we've taken that, we've put it into a little button, and that button is essentially a flavor button, so you can turn it on to add a little bit of excitement to a direct inputted guitar or bass, or a little bit of top-end brightness to a vocal, something that's going to add, think of it as it's going to add a little bit of energy and excitement to whatever you are recording. Interfaces are obviously mic pre's and headphones jacks and stuff like that, but at the heart of all interfaces is the converter. Again, we have put in a best-in-class converter in here, and this is because we wanted the conversion from analog to digital and back again to be as best as possible. One thing I forgot to mention, by the way, about the mic pre, since we're talking about best in class, is the extremely low noise that is in here. Right now, my microphone that I am talking through is cranked. We're about at the 3 o'clock position right now, and the amount of noise that you hear is pretty darn quiet. I can turn this up and not talk, and of course you might want to hear that at this point, but just kidding. Anyway, the point being is noise floor, right? When you're recording, if you want to have a really good recording, you want to make sure that, number one, the quality of the sound is good, but number two, your noise floor is really low. The noise floor is all that background noise and stuff like that that gets into your recording, especially when using live mics. This is just the nature of things, especially when we do more and more recording in our bedrooms these days. And if you are trying to get, a really record quality sound in a home environment, having something that is extremely quiet is very important. All right. The last thing I will want to talk about is the monitors here, the headphones and the monitor outputs. So again, on SSL 2 Plus, you have the 2 TRSs for a set of speakers, although you can absolutely use outputs 3 and 4 on RCAs for, let's say, an alternative set of speakers, little Oratones or something like that you might want to use. But then you have on SSL 2 Plus the 2 headphones, 2 separate headphone mixes that you can do. SSL 2 has 1 headphone mix. The great thing about this, again, a best-in-class headphone amplifier. And what that means is that you can use a very high-quality pair of headphones, something that has a very high resistance rating. We're talking 80 ohms, 200 ohms, 600 ohms, and any of those headphones will work in this headphone jack. So you can use a very nice high quality pair of headphones, especially if you're using this to do some remote recording on site. Let's say you're recording some classical music or a jazz ensemble, on site, or even using this kind of like what I'm using it right now for, is to stream audio, or even film production, something like that. Because this is portable, because it is very powerful and very quiet, you will find really good use for an SSL2 or an SSL2 Plus in any of your home or professional productions. Great. Well, thanks so much for your time. I appreciate you hanging around and talking to me. And I hope that you do consider an SSL2 or a 2 Plus for your interface, either for portable or for your home studio. Thanks a lot. Take care.